Peace, and welcome to all Aligned to Enlighten followers. My name is Edward Muhammad. I am co-creator of this movement taking off called Align to Enlighten. In today's discussion, we pretty much take up where we left off in segment 2, entitled Removing the Speed Bumps, with this segment, segment 3, entitled The Path of Least Resistance. The Path of Least Resistance. So, all of us have desires to improve or expand upon. This is the natural cycle of living, and we believe is our purpose for being here. We came into this physical realm to create and to expand. We came into this physical world from non-physical as extensions of God, as extensions of Source, and as extensions of all that is. And along our journey in life, along our journey of creation and expansion, we have come to have desires and preferences on how we want to live our lives and our ideas about life in general. When we acknowledge these desires to move from where we currently stand to where we would like to be, there is a path. There is a walkway, if you will, a thoroughfare to get from right here where I stand to over there where I want to be. In removing the speed bumps, we identified two basic principles of understanding, two principles that will also be the basis for our discussion here today. And those two principles are that there is resistance and there is allowance. There is a path of resistance and there is a path of allowance. And the path of least resistance, which can also be called the path of most allowance, is the path that gives you the most enjoyable ride the most enjoyable ride along your journey from where you currently stand to where you would like to be. Let me repeat that. The path of least resistance, which can also be referred to as the path of most allowance, is the path that gives you the most enjoyable ride along your journey from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I know what some of you are probably saying. Why would I want the most enjoyable ride along my journey? Isn't life supposed to be about overcoming obstacles and overcoming resistance so that I can become a stronger person? Isn't life supposed to be about struggle? Well, we say no, not really. As a matter of fact, emphatically not. Our life's journey is supposed to be about joy. We believe our life's journey is supposed to be about clarity, about peace, about fulfillment, alignment, none of which have anything or correspond at all with resistance. The fact of the matter is you don't overcome resistance. Anytime you push against something, you just simply get more of that something. This is the law of attraction. And also, think about it. Would you enjoy a trip from New York to California that was filled with speed bumps every 100 yards? Or would you enjoy a walk through the forest having to push away thick brush for 10 to 15 or 20 miles along a hike? I think most would agree that they would not enjoy that. You see, when you want something, the universe goes into immediate action, orchestrating and organizing and creating for you the path that offers the least amount of resistance for you to attain your desires. The universe orchestrates and organizes the path of greatest allowance towards your wants and desires, and all that you desire and all that you want. Source, God within you work in harmony to remove the speed bumps and barriers so that you can achieve exactly what it is that you want. Your job is simply to allow. Your job is to get on the path and to not offer resistance in the form of anxiety, fear, doubt, frustration, impatience, or any other negative emotion. Remember, negative emotion is resistance, as we discussed in our previous segment. And how do you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're on the wrong path, or better yet, that you're not on the path of least resistance? Because you don't feel good. You feel bad. Your mission, your job is to move towards what feels good to you and away from what feels bad to you. In other words, follow your bliss, is the phrase that was coined by Joseph Campbell. Again, I know this is contrary and probably sounds foreign to what we've been taught, which is to face resistance, wrestle it to the ground, stomp it out, smother it until it's dead. Well, we're here to say to you that anytime that you fight or push against resistance, you simply get more resistance, period. Wherever your attention and focus goes, your energy flows. And wherever your energy flows, that thing grows. And again, we're not in any way suggesting taking the easy way out of something, avoiding conflict, circumventing some challenging situation in life. We're not encouraging you to flee from life's issues, but what we are suggesting is to take the path of most allowing by paying close attention to your emotions and being supremely and acutely aware and caring of how you feel until you are in better alignment to address the issue at hand. And how do you do that? How do you pay close attention to your emotions? How do you supremely and acutely become more aware and caring about how you feel? Well, when something doesn't feel good, simply withdraw from it. Remove yourself. Change your focus of attention. I'll give you something that works for me that I've found very useful from time to time. There's an acronym that I use when I feel any kind of negative emotion, and that acronym is STOP, S-T-O-P. Just imagine the octagon-shaped stop sign at the end of your street in the neighborhood that you live in. STOP. The S stands for stop. The T stands for take a breath. And the O stands for observe. And lastly, the P stands for proceed. S-T-O-P. Stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed. Usually when I use this tool, it gives me just the brief moment of the brief amount of time that I need to make the best decision that I can make at that particular time. And doing this exercise puts me in immediate alignment with my Creator, and now I'm feeling empowered and I'm feeling clear-minded to do what I need to do. So what's the point here? What's the understanding we want you to take away from this discussion? Number one, we want you to know that we were put here to experience joy and happiness and to live a wonderful life full of greatness and expansion. We don't believe that we were put here to struggle, and we don't believe our lives are supposed to be about struggle. Number two, we want you to know that resistance is not a natural occurrence. I'll say that again. Resistance is not a natural occurrence and is always self-induced. And that barriers and obstacles and resistance that comes in our life come from our own definition of how we perceive life and how things occur in life. And lastly, you always have the choice to choose the path of least resistance or the path of most resistance. You are the decider of the amount of resistance you want between you and your desire, or the little resistance, the least amount of resistance that you want between you and your desire. And with that decision, at that moment, you create your own outcome, your own success, your own reality. Okay? Thank you for listening. I leave you as I greeted you. Peace.